Get ready because we're celebrating 5 incredible years of the Maine Health Show. It's more than just a hair show, it's a platform where we dive into topics that truly matter, just like your favorite barbershop or beauty salon. We cover a wide variety of issues that impact each and every one of us. Join me, Stephanie Anderson, host of the Maine Health Show, as we celebrate 5 years of empowerment, education, and inspiration. Don't miss out on the incredible insights and transformative conversations that await you on the Maine Health Show. Exciting news, San Antonio, Bexar County, and the surrounding areas. I'm honored to be a featured author at the 6th Annual San Antonio African American Book Festival. Join me on Saturday, February 22nd, 2025 from noon to 5 p.m. at the Second Baptist Community Center Gym. That's at 3310 East Commerce Street in San Antonio, Texas. And I'll have copies of my books, Alopecia It's a Thing, and The Gifts of Pain, Volume 1 on hand. If you already own a copy, bring it with you to get it signed and snap a photo with me. Plus, get an exclusive preview of 2 upcoming books that I can't wait to share with you. Let's connect, share stories, and celebrate the power of words together. See you there. When you think of San Antonio, the city that boasts one of the largest active and retired military populations in the nation, you might think Military City, USA. But you may soon think about man's, or should I say veterans' best friends. Hello and welcome to the Maine Health Show. I am your host, Stephanie Anderson. Ever wonder what makes a service dog so uniquely qualified to transform a veteran's life, or how they become such loyal and skilled helpers? Well, I am honored to shine a spotlight on an incredible organization that is making a profound impact in the lives of our nation's heroes. Paws for Purple Hearts is a pioneering nonprofit dedicated to improving the lives of veterans and active duty service members through the therapeutic power of expertly trained service dogs. But what set Paws for Purple Hearts apart in their innovative approach? These dogs not only provide life-changing assistance to veterans, but they also play a crucial role in the organization's therapeutic programs. And veterans are directly involved in the training process, fostering healing, empowerment, and a renewed sense of purpose. Today, I have the privilege of welcoming Roxanne Villanova from Paws for Purple Hearts to share more about this heartwarming mission, the incredible animals, and the dedicated team behind it all. Let's dive in and learn about the special way they serve those who have given so much for our country. Hi, Roxanne, and welcome to the Maine Health Show.
Thank you, Stephanie. I'm so excited to be here and talk about everything that we do at Paws for Purple Hearts.
Yes.
It is a mission that I have grown to absolutely love. Yes. I had honestly hadn't heard of this organization 7 months ago.
Wow.
But in the process, in July of 2024, I actually became site manager here at the local Paws for Purple Hearts facility.
Well, tell us a little bit about that, and of course, in that, tell us about, of course, the mission and everything that entails.
Great. So Paws for Purple Hearts, what we do, like you said, we provide therapeutic programs and top quality dogs, and we train them here locally in San Antonio. We are a national nonprofit, it. So we do have sites, other places within the country that veterans can go and get support that they need. But we do provide canine-assisted warrior therapy on the forefront. On a daily basis, we have people coming into our facility, really working with the dogs. We have experienced trainers who dedicate their lives to training these dogs and making sure that they have all the skills that they need to be matched with veterans across the country who need their services. So our focus is really working with the veterans in terms of working with PTSD, depression, traumatic brain injuries, and then also mobility issues. So we know our veterans, they come back from service and they've dedicated their lives, but sometimes there's those unseen wounds that veterans are dealing with. And I'm so glad to talk about what we do as a mission, because just in the recent years, I mean, we all talk about veterans and how we want to support them. And the thing that I advocate mostly about is we're combating veteran suicide. And we're helping. It's literally talking about, there are about 22 veterans a day that commit suicide. And unfortunately, that is a sad number for those that have really dedicated their lives to protecting us and making sure that we have the freedoms that we have. So in our mission, we are working with those veterans who come home, who have said, yes, I need help. I want this. I want to better my families. I want to better my life and what that looks like. And we get to be a part of that.
That's awesome. That's a great mission to have. Let's talk a little bit about the dogs and the trainers, because the dogs play such a vital role in your programs. What types of training do they undergo, and what makes them uniquely suited to help the veterans?
Sure. So we all know dogs are man's best friend.
Yes, they are.
They all come with a various array of personalities, just like we do as humans, right? So the training that goes into these dogs, it takes about 2.5 years to train a dog. We actually, part of our program and our national mission is we purpose breed. So we breed golden retrievers, Labrador retrievers, or cross between the two. And that's really to really help with the focus and what our mission is, because we are dealing with mobility assistance, because we are dealing with some of these PTSD, traumatic brain injuries. The dogs are trained in different ways that will help suit all different kinds. And since we purpose breed, which means we get them at 8 to 12 weeks, as literally as puppies. They already have started their training, you know, the like basic skills, socialization, those things. But when they come to us in our sites and our trainers get them, that's where the magic happens. They start instilling not only the commands, which are super important because the service dog learns over 100 commands in their tenure of learning. But it's also exciting to see that they get to learn all different kinds of things. So whether it be working with our trainers for wheelchair assistance or walker assistance, we do soldier recovery. So soldiers that are at BAMC or different areas, that surgical teams, they actually refer them as kind of an alternative form of therapy. And they get to come in real time and work and not only do their physical therapy in a fun way, right? But they get to help instill those things, because some of our trainers don't have, you know, broken limbs or these things, but these soldiers do. And the dogs literally in real time get to walk alongside them in their journey of healing, but also reinforce the skills that we're teaching them. So our trainers, they do a wonderful job at exposing the dogs to all the different things in their training. And that's the wonderful part of what we do. But to see the magic happen when, you know, those veterans come into our office and they forget about their mental health. They forget about their physical therapy, whatever that looks like, and they get to focus on, like, I just get to help be with this dog.
That kind of leads me to the next question, and I love it because the segue is so seamless. How do you match a dog with a veteran, and what factors are considered to ensure a strong partnership? Because it's something, when you do place, it's a lifelong relationship, correct?
So that initially was kind of like our primary focus until we started boots on the ground working. So the matching is super important. We do have a national team and we have a local instructor who works with clients. So veterans across the country realize, hey, maybe I would like a service dog. Maybe that idea is put into their head through a fair or a friend or, you know, maybe their counselor. And they're like, well, how do I do this, right? So they can go on our website, and what happens is they fill out an application. and then the process begins.
Okay.
So we do interviews.
Okay.
We talk all about, well, why? Why do you want a service dog? Like,
Yeah.
what's the purpose? What are the things that you're trying to accomplish in life? And our team does a really good job doing that.
Okay.
And then during the training process, we're intentionally not asking the dog, but we're viewing the dog, we're evaluating the dog, seeing the things that that dog likes, because it also
Their
has a personality.
personalities.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yeah.
So if a dog is excited and likes to go outside for long walks and really likes to do commands, well, then we want to pair them with an outgoing veteran
Yes.
who wants to do those things.
Exactly.
Maybe that veteran isn't there yet.
Yes.
Maybe they have some mobility issues and they
Okay.
only need support, going to HEB or Walmart because they don't want to isolate anymore, and one of their goals is to get out more.
Okay.
Well, we find a dog who
That suits that.
suits that role, right?
Okay.
So we don't do first come first serve.
Okay.
It's literally based on dog and
It's a
client.
matching process.
Yes, it's a full. One of our client services in the national office said, "I never thought matchmaking for dogs would be in her resume." So I kind of laughed at that, like, interesting. Matchmaking for humans is very
Yes.
similar to matchmaking. And what you said is perfect.
Yes.
It is matching for life. So we want to make sure that bond, and we do have, it's built into our program. It's called client training. So
Okay.
once we have veterans that we think might be a suitable match for dogs, we bring them together for an intensive 2-week session
Wow.
to form that bond
Okay.
with each other. And the trainer helps as well, giving the knowledge that they have to that potential veteran that will match. And at the end, we match them and we send them home with their dog.
That's awesome.
And it's hopefully for life.
That's
you know?
awesome.
Well, the span of the dog's
Yeah.
life.
Well, we're going to continue the conversation on the next segment because there's so much more still to
yes.
cover, because we definitely want to highlight not only what they do, but kind of talk
Sure.
about the trainers. So today we actually, in the studio, have the ambassador, and she's a working woman. Her name is Kimberly, and she has a business card. I don't always carry my business card with me, so I was really impressed. So on the next segment, we're going to have a trainer come, and we're going to have the ambassador, Miss Kimberly, come, and we're going to talk a little bit more in depth about the program.
Yeah.
Pause for Purple Hearts. We'll be right back. And we're back, and we're still talking with Roxanne Villanova from Pause for Purple Hearts, and we also have on the stage with us Erica Horn and the ambassador, Kimberly. Before we talk to them more in depth, we were talking about the process of matching up, and I thought about a good question. The impact on veterans must be life-changing. Can you share a particularly memorable success story that highlights the bond between a veteran and their service dog?
Sure. So just recently, we had a graduation here in San Antonio this past March. And we did have one of our clients who had went through our Canine Assisted Warrior Therapy program. And then that program ended and he was kind of volunteering and he just needed that connection. Well, he had some mobility issues and several surgeries stemming from his service. And he was looking for this process, right? So like I said, it's not first come, first serve.
Yes.
The application process varies for everyone.
Okay.
So for him, it was basically he put in his application, he went through that process, and we did have one of the dogs that we were in the program was ready to be matched. And we were trying to figure out what, this was a very dog that was very calm, you know, didn't want to do all the activity, didn't want to meet everybody, and wasn't into that kind of life. But neither was this veteran.
Okay.
This veteran was trying to just like get back, like his wife would go everywhere with him and do all these things, and it gave him the ability when that match happened and it actually worked. He's actually to go on work jobs with his service dog, and his wife doesn't have to go with him, and he's able to do things very independently, and he received that independence again.
I love that.
Right, so that's what our goal is to whatever that independence, whatever that goal is for the veteran. That match is super important because it gives them, I mean, we're dealing with people who have self-isolation. They think that the world has closed and they have all these things that nobody will understand. Well, a dog doesn't talk, you know, like a dog will just take you as you are.
Yes, you are.
And we brought Erica and Kem here to show a little bit. Like I said, we do focus on PTSD, traumatic brain injuries, mobility assistance. The dogs get several ideas of training. So Erica is one of our professionals. She has actually she is the longest member of our team here in San Antonio locally.
Awesome. Okay.
So
tell us a little bit more about Erica and what it is that she does. And of course, we want to talk about Kimberly and show some of the things that Kimberly does. So take it away.
Well, Erica,
I'm happy to tell
It's
a
nice to
little
have
bit.
you here, definitely.
Thank you for having us.
Yes.
I think, have one of the best jobs in the world. Just no bias or anything like that. I think I do. And part of my job is to help facilitate our canine-assisted warrior therapy, where I can help instruct the veterans that are coming in and working with our dogs. I'm also responsible for training the dogs additionally as well. So all of the things that Roxanne mentioned of exposing the dogs to the human world, that is my job.
And thank you for that.
Thank you. I never thought going grocery shopping would be fun because I get to do it with a dog and I get to take them and train with them, but it's something that's really enjoyable. And I did bring Kimberly here today. She's happy to show some of the things that we do. But mainly my job is to help with canine assisted warrior therapy and also help prepare the dog for the human world that they will need to be familiar with in order to be a service dog. We want to make sure that they are comfortable with everything and they're able to be that support for that individual if they are placed as a service dog.
We were talking about the importance of placement. So you as the trainer, not only are you, showing skills on how to go to the grocery store, how to open up a refrigerator, and I know you'll elaborate more on that, but you have to be aware enough and intentional of knowing that dog, so you'll know what their personality is like in order how to best suit them and place them with someone.
Yes.
So that's phenomenal.
I always say there's no perfect dog, but there could be a perfect dog match for a person. Everybody has different things that they like or things that maybe they're not a fan of when it comes to dogs, and we will look at each dog individually to see whether or not that could be a good match. We have some dogs that love to be couch potatoes, which is great. Some people, that's what they want.
Yes.
Other dogs like to be a little bit more busy. They like to be up and doing things, and so we take all those things into consideration when it comes to matching them, because we want it to be a team. We want it to be a lifelong partnership.
Yes, that's so important. Okay, so I am so excited to have Kimberly here. You just don't know, she's just beautiful. So if you don't mind, we got some time to kind of go through the different processes, share what it is she's doing, and the floor is all yours.
Of course. Kim loves to do commands, so she's going to be really excited. So beyond they need to be able to do basic obedience. Obviously, they need to be able to sit, down, stay, come when called, those types of things. But they also learn what we call tasks. And tasks are those specific commands that help mitigate whatever that person's disability might be. So for us, it would be mobility assistance or psychiatric support. So I'll start with one of the favorites. It's called LAP, and it's actually a form of deep pressure therapy where the dogs can actually help ground an individual maybe during times of distress. Are you ready? LAP. Girl, lap. Good job. And so this is a way that an individual can interact with the dog. They can actually perform some deep pressure and also kisses as well. Thank you. Appreciate that.
That's a bonus.
She likes to sneak one of those in, and that is actually one of the commands we do teach them. We do teach them kiss so that they can offer some gentle kisses. Thank you. And so this is also a way that an individual, let's say maybe they're a quadriplegic, they're in a wheelchair, they're not able to bend over to interact with their dog. This is a way that they can still get snuggles, they can still get some of that benefit because the dog can come to them. And our dogs, as you can see, generally once they're up here, they enjoy staying up here, but it can definitely be something to help ground that individual. I'm talking. Thank you. Off. So another command they can do, retrieval is a big part of it. Whether for psychiatric support or mobility assistance, being able to retrieve items, pick up items is important. I am very tall. Sometimes when I drop my keys, the thought of reaching down to pick them up is
Okay.
is daunting for me. So if
Or
you
like
know,
there's back issues.
back
Yes.
issues, vertigo, those
Okay.
types of things. So even a dog, let's say I dropped their leash, them being able to pick up their leash would be extremely beneficial. Get your leash. Bring it here. Give. Thank you. And we actually teach our dogs the command give. That means come to my hand.
Okay.
So if I have to bring my hand down here to get the item,
Yeah.
it might not be as beneficial. Get your leash. But if I ask her to give here, she's going to go to wherever my hand is
Hand
and put it in my hand, give, thank you, and not let go until I actually grip onto it. So that is a skill that they will learn. Thank you, my dear. They also can interrupt, you know, panic attacks, maybe specific triggers. Now, sometimes that can be something that we work a little bit individually once the dog has been matched.
In place,
But a very common one that people will do when they're nervous, and Kem loves calling people out all the time, whether they bounce
I
their leg because
witnessed
they
that
have
earlier.
She has,
ADHD or if they are nervous.
Yep.
Yes.
They're also taught to nudge as well. So if I was bouncing my leg and I was nervous, maybe you scramble your brain just a little bit. They're actually taught that they need to nudge and interrupt that behavior
Okay.
and help ground that person so they can focus on the dog and not focus on maybe the internal thoughts that are happening. Thank you.
yes. We've often been in meeting where one of the dogs is under the table, you know, doing their thing, and we're having a meeting, and one of us is doing that, and the dog will just quietly go over and
And
start
nudge.
nudging. And sometimes
You don't
we
think
don't
about
even
it.
realize that we're
Yes.
doing that activity,
Yes.
right? But the dogs
Yes.
are like, hey,
Senses that.
calm it down.
So in addition to that, you would make sure that the recipient of the dog is aware of the nudge and what that means to them as
Absolutely,
well.
yes, absolutely. And that's something during that client training that Roxanne was talking about. It's almost kind of like, you know, your first date kind of in
Yes,
school,
it
right?
is.
You're learning.
Getting to learn.
You're
Yeah.
learning a relationship with a new
Yes.
person. So, you know, the first day, maybe they don't really know their dog very well, but by the end of those 2 weeks, you know, they're
Wow.
going to understand each other
Yeah.
and they learn about what commands the dog knows, and they actually learn how to utilize that to their best benefit as well.
And the process doesn't stop there. For our organization, everything's absolutely free to the veteran, and the aftercare is actually part of our process.
Wow.
So we don't just say, "Here's your dog, go home, figure it out." No, we have our team that they can call and ask questions.
absolutely.
We do a follow up at 3 months, 6 months, and a year, just to
Okay.
make sure. And then sometimes we even fly out. Sometimes our match, like if it's someone from our team and our dog is, say for instance, in Missouri or wherever that looks
Okay.
like, we'll fly out, and sometimes we'll do a home visit and just see
visit.
how things are going and just
support
make
is
sure
needed.
that we stay in connection
I
with them.
love that. And I like the way you said where support is needed, because I can
absolutely.
imagine for both the animal and the recipient,
Yeah.
this is something that you have to, you know,
It takes work.
it takes time. It takes work.
yeah.
Okay, so we learned the nudge. She picked up her. We got ladies on this stage, all ladies. So kind of share some more things that she's able to do. For us.
Absolutely. We also teach them how to open and close doors. So
Okay.
if I needed her to retrieve something from the refrigerator, we teach them to do that as
Okay,
well.
okay.
Turn on and off lights. Maybe
Okay.
that's something that is needed for the individual. And also, and I think Roxanne kind of touched on a little bit
Mm-hmm.
before, being just a non-judgmental companion.
Yeah.
You know, that's something that is really, really vital.
Yes.
A lot of times the individuals that receive service dogs, they do have a support system, but
Yes.
you know, being a caregiver, sometimes that is its own thing in itself.
Yes.
And being, thank you, Kim. She's, I support you while you talk.
Yes, she is.
She's actually performing another one of our commands. It's
Okay.
called Visit, another lighter form of deep pressure therapy, where the dog actually rests their head on the person's leg. And this is usually her go-to when
Okay.
she is ready to do more things. But it really is teaching the dog to function in the human world as well as perform some of those tasks. Retrievals is a really, really big one, like I mentioned, and that equates to all of the things, retrieving medication,
Okay,
retrieving
okay.
items that you drop. We also teach the dog to retrieve help if that's something that's needed.
Yep.
Great.
So
Yeah.
it takes a little bit of finagling when you're
Yes.
training it, but one of the commands they can perform as well is, let's say I was an individual, I fell in
Mm-hmm.
a supermarket and I had my service dog with me and I can't get up.
Yes.
We have a command the dog can actually go retrieve
Help.
whoever the closest person is.
Okay.
And it's not always foolproof, but generally when a dog approaches approaches you, a service
Yeah.
dog with no human,
Yeah.
people kind of wonder why, and they will
What-
investigate.
Yeah, where'd you come from?
Yeah, where did you come from? And
Yeah.
you're so beautiful. Why are you here by
Yes,
yourself?
yes.
Type of thing. So they can actually do those things as well.
And I think it's important for the viewers of the show to know that if you would encounter a service dog and they don't have their companion with them, that to follow them
Yes.
because there's potentially
Yes.
somebody that needs help. So that's if they're out. If they're at HEB shopping and something happens, they know. But what would happen in the privacy if it's just the dog and the veteran and a medical issue arose?
Oh, that's a good
What-
question.
What would happen in that case?
That's where those retrievals would come in handy. We
Okay.
do teach them to retrieve the phone
The
as
phone,
well.
okay.
So that's a very specific command so that they could bring the phone to them.
Okay.
And we actually practice. The dog needs to be able to do it in every context. So,
Okay.
you know, the dog usually is most comfortable picking things up off the floor. That's generally where we'll start. But
Okay.
I generally don't keep my phone on the floor,
Yeah.
so I have to practice.
Yeah.
You know, I'm on a chair on an elevated surface. And the really great thing about Paws for Purple Hearts that I really, really enjoy is they teach the dog to problem solve. So there's 50 different ways to climb a mountain. It doesn't mean that the way I think is correct is the way that you should do it. So we teach the dog, if you don't quite know, figure it out.
I love it.
So if I ask you to retrieve an item, I don't care where you pick it up, you know, what works best for you.
Yeah.
So if a dog accidentally drops something or they knock something over, the dog can still problem solve through to
Okay.
be able to retrieve that item or those types of things. We also teach them certain commands that actually tells the dog, you're on the right track, keep going. That was something that was new to me as well.
Okay.
I've worked with other service dog organizations, and that was something that was very unique to Paws for Purple
Okay.
Hearts. We teach the dog, you know, because they're living, breathing creatures.
Yes.
Sometimes they go, did I hear you correctly? I think you asked me to do this.
Yes.
And they actually can maybe start out with a command and their handler, let's say I was incapacitated, I wasn't able to get up and help. I could say our encouragement phrase, which is attaboy, attagirl, and that tells the dog, you're on the right track, keep
Yeah.
going. That's what I kind of want you to do. So I'm able to guide the dog with just my voice.
It's really important.
It's really, really important because sometimes, you know,
That's
the
all that they
dexterity
have.
is not there. That's all that they
have.
have. So it's really important that our dogs understand they have to listen to the voice and they have to listen for whatever the command is and get guidance or encouragement that way.
There is so much to the program. I'm so happy that you were able to come and share. Of course, bring Kimberly, and I'm just enamored with her. She's beautiful.
Attagirl, no. Well, there we go.
If there's anyone that's watching the show that, because you're a nonprofit, that wants to help in whatever capacity, how would they find out more about Paws for Purple Hearts, contact you, follow, help, or whatever? Can you give that information, please?
So we support everyone across the country. So the best place to find information is always on our website, pawsforpurplehearts.org. All the information for there, and there are all tabs to your closest location so that you can find out information. I always say we love everybody's time, talent, and treasure. Everybody has different ways that they want to support what we do. We invite you to come volunteer if you're local to San Antonio. We are off UTSA Boulevard, off Beckwith. So you can come to our office. We have an amazing staff that can walk through the process. There are levels to organization, you know, our general volunteering to helping support some of the things we do with the dogs. You can go to our social media aspects. Just look for us, Paws for Purple Hearts San Antonio, and you can follow us on social media.
And I understand that Kimberly has a hashtag.
She does.
She does. Kimberly is a working woman, so
Okay.
she has, like you mentioned, her own business card.
business card,
If you'd like to look up Kimberly on social media, you can actually search her hashtag,
Yes.
which is hashtag PPH Kimmerly,
Okay.
and that's spelled KEMMERLE. And she definitely loves to share photos when she is out and about and all the things that she does, spreading the mission. Is that
Yes.
right, Kate?
And that's also how you can help too. All of our dogs have hashtags. They are working dogs, so they have their own business profile, all those kind of things. But they also have their very own wish list because every dog is different and they have their
Oh,
wishes. So
okay.
if maybe not monetarily, we always need help, support
Okay.
for the dogs themselves, whether it be food, toy items,
Treats.
enrichment treats,
Yes.
those kind of things.
Nobody
Okay.
works for free.
Yes.
They don't either.
Okay.
They receive their payment of treats. And
That
every
is-
dog has their own favorite.
That is so great to know. And I wish we had more time, but we don't. We may have to have you guys back. So.
We'll
Always happy to visit.
Just thank you, ladies, for coming to the Maine Health Show, sharing your program, bringing Kimberly with you. So that's all for today's show. Thank you for joining us here at Maine's Health. Take care and be blessed. Good